The next question is a graph. So we'll be answering questions from that graph. The graph is showing frequency against the height of cassava in meters. So looking at the graph, when the height of cassava is 1.0, you have 20 cassava, then like that it is increasing. The frequency is increasing as the height of cassava is increasing until it got to 140. And the height is 1.6 meters, then it started declining. So that's what the graph is showing us. So the question says the graph illustrates A, the highest frequency of height of 2 meters, B, a discontinuously varying character, C, a continuously varying character, D, total yield in a cassava farm. The answer is C, a continuously varying character. The frequency and the height of the cassava are varied continuously at different times. Then the next question, the largest number of cassava plants has an approximate height of. So you just look at the largest number of cassava, that is the frequency, the highest frequency there that is found in this graph is 140. So you just trace it to the corresponding height, and that is 1.6 meters. The answer is B, 1.6 meters. The next question, the type of interaction shown is referred to as, this is also another graph that is showing two different species of organisms, P. aureola and P. caudator. So number of organisms as against the times or days. Looking at it now, you see that we have P. aureola rising up, even it started lower than P. caudator, but it went higher, while P. caudator that started higher than P. aureola went downward. So let's answer the question. The type of interaction shown is referred to as A. interspecific competition, B. intraspecific competition, C. mutualism, D. cooperation. The answer is interspecific competition because they are not of the same species, even though they are of the same gender. So it is interspecific competition. The next question says, which of the following statements is true of the interaction? When you look at the graphical representation of the interaction, option A says P. aureola is better adapted for obtaining food than P. caudator. B says P. caudator is better adapted for obtaining food than P. aureola. C says both organisms cannot coexist. Then D says both organisms cannot reproduce. The answer is A, because P. aureola started lower, but it went on to increase. So it is better adapted for obtaining food than P. caudator, option A. And the last question on this topic is this. The solid part of the ecosystem is referred to as. The solid part of the ecosystem is referred to as A. biosphere, B. lithosphere, C. atmosphere, D. hydrosphere. Biosphere is the bigger part where we have life. So it comprises of lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere. Lithosphere is the solid part of the ecosystem, and that is our answer, B. C is the atmosphere, the part that contains the air. That's the atmosphere. Then the hydrosphere is the water, the part of the earth that contains water. So our answer is option B, lithosphere, which is a solid part of the ecosystem. Now we'll be looking at another topic, and under that topic we'll be considering evolution, variation, and adaptation. We'll be looking at various questions on evolution, on variation, and adaptation. And the first question we'll be looking on that is fossil records found in sedimentary rock offer some explanation for the theory of evolution because A. The deposits have remains of organisms, characteristics of when they were formed. B. Different strata have remains of organisms of the same kind. C. Only organisms with strong parts are fossilized. And D. Most animal and plant fossils bear little resemblance to present-day living specimens. In evolution, scientists believe that various organisms come from pre-existing organisms. Like one of the cell theories says that cells come from pre-existing cells. So in evolution, we believe that some things that have existed before are a pointer to things that are existing now. So in answering this question, that fossil records found in sedimentary rocks offer some explanation for the theory of evolution. Why? The answer is A. The deposits found in sedimentary rocks have remains of organisms characteristic of when they were formed. That is why you have palynology, geology, archaeology and all that, studying fossils, studying the deposits, old deposits that have been there for thousands, millions of years, that is giving a pointer as, okay, this some years ago or thousands of years ago, this lived in this form, this way and that. So it gives the characteristics. The deposits have remains of organisms, characteristics of when they were formed. Then the next question. Long neck in giraffes is used to illustrate the theory of what? Long necks in giraffe is used to illustrate the theory of what? A. Use and disuse. B. Origin of species. C. Origin of life. D. Natural selection. It was Lamarck, Jane Lamarck, a scientist, that made this theory, that proposed this theory of use and disuse. And what did he say? He said giraffes had short neck in the past, but because of the need for them to eat leaves on top of trees, so they had to be stretching their necks over decades or thousands of years. So that is why we now have giraffes that you find their necks very, very long. That was what that theory says. So the long neck in giraffe is used to illustrate the theory of use and disuse. He believes that if there is a part of the body that is being used, it will be more efficient, it will be pronounced in the offspring. But if there is a part of the body that is not used, is abandoned, it will disappear or it will lose its function in the offspring. That's what that theory says. Then the next question. In the honeybee colony, the drones are what? In the colony of honeybee, the drones are what? A. Sterile males with reduced mouth parts. B. Sterile males with well-developed mouth parts. C. Fertile males with reduced mouth parts. D. Fertile males with well-developed mouth parts. The drones are fertile males that have well-developed mouth parts. That's option D. Then the next one. In the whistling pine leaves, in the whistling pines, leaves are reduced to brown scale and young stems are green. This is an adaptation for what? A. Obtaining food. B. Conserving nutrients. C. Storing water. D. Reducing transpiration. The answer is D. To reduce transpiration, to reduce water loss. That is why the pine leaves, they are reduced to brown scale and then their young stem are green, to reduce transpiration. The next question. The best explanation for the theories of natural selection is that A. All organisms have equal capacity for survival in their habitats. B. Organisms have varying capacities for survival in their habitats. C. Organisms compete for resources and better competitors survive and thrive. D. Habitats allow only organisms that will not have to compete for survival. That organisms compete for resources and the better competitors, those ones that can outweigh the other, are the ones that will survive. While the weaker ones will be eliminated, they will either migrate or they will die, they will starve because they cannot compete well. So the answer is C. Organisms compete for resources and better competitors survive and thrive in that environment. The next one, the basic point of impact by changes which produce mutation is the what? A. Gamete, B. chromosome, C. phenotype, D. zygote. The basic point of impact that produces mutation is the phenotype. The physical appearance or the physical expression of a particular person or a particular gene is the phenotype, and that is option C. The next question. From an evolutionary standpoint, the older a fossil-bearing rock is, the more likely it is to contain what? A. Apes as opposed to amphibians. B. Invertebrates as opposed to vertebrates. C. Angiosperms as opposed to algae. D. Vertebrates as opposed to invertebrates. From evolutionary standpoint, the answer is D. Vertebrates as opposed to invertebrates. Vertebrates as opposed to invertebrates. The next question. The very bright colors in some types of mushroom suggest that what? A. They are a warning that they may be poisonous. B. They indicate that they are very tasty. C. They attract potential transporters of their spores. D. They perform the same function as bright colors in flowers. Looking at the bright colors in some types of mushroom, it is telling predators, it is warning that this particular mushroom may be poisonous, and that gives us the answer with the option A. They are a warning that they may be poisonous. Then the next one, the least adaptive feature for arboreal life is that